point blank, when you have a doctor that says, I don't know why you are alive. You should have died on that couch. There is no reason you should have been here.
What's your name?
I am Rachel Zellabor. I was born in Colorado Springs. So that's where I lived until I was 8. So it's kind of my home. I never knew there was a race. I'd never heard of the Manitou Incline. I remember going to Pikes Peak. It was good. It was enough of a climb that I said a few words, but short enough that it was good. It was a little buster. I liked it. I happened to go to our pediatrician's house for dinner, and there was other people there, and they were talking about how they did this mom meetup where half of them would go out and run while they watched the kids, and then the other half would go out. And so they invited me, and so I just started doing that. And then one of the girls asked me if I would ever think of a half marathon, and I was like, I don't take too much convincing to do something that I've never done. So I said, sure. And then 2 weeks later, she was mysteriously pregnant. And so I just continued, and I did my first at Duke City half in Albuquerque, and did that one, and was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. I definitely told her she was crazy. Really, at that point, not only was she still dealing with health issues, she was still looking at like a Boston qualifying and really looking at that. So maybe she just realized she needed a shakeup. She needed something totally different, a new goal, and set other goals to the side for a little bit. But you can't talk her out of something. So even if you said she was crazy, it wasn't going to make a difference.
We've got it now. Finish strong.
I just think that was good pacing wise. That just, there's no need to kill it up the hill there.
I picked up my daughter from dance, and it probably felt like a heart attack. Like my right shoulder was going numb, and it would go down into my arm whenever when I breathed in, the most excruciating pain in my back. Any other person it would have killed. That night when the nurse told me that she thought it was a blood clot, I laughed at her. I said, I don't believe you. And I said, let me talk to the doctor. And an hour later, my doctor called me, and he's like, you need to go to the hospital. And he knew I wasn't going. I took 800 milligrams of ibuprofen and tried to go back to bed. And, you know, later that night, he had to call me again and say, where are you? And because it's still, I just didn't believe, like, this was happening. I mean, it still doesn't sink in because I wasn't resuscitated. I didn't have to have oxygen. I didn't have to have life-saving measures as other people have. I think it was Umstead that drew me into wanting to do something longer. Being in the middle of the snow and at 11:30 at night, and just people there for that one person.
While she is such a strong athlete, such a fierce competitor, I think her confidence level has changed. I think she's become way more confident than she was before. And sometimes getting in those really longer endurance runs just helped to build that. She's been consistent on her runs. We worked on her nutrition a little bit because I think she wasn't eating enough. But she's so confident, and that's great. You know, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch this race, like to track her.
Boston was the standard, and that was what everything was based off of. Did you qualify for Boston? Have you qualified for Boston? Have you ever ran Boston? And that's where I thought I wasn't a good runner unless I was able to qualify for Boston.
Feeling more confident today? No? The same? Less?
If I can just do what I did yesterday,
Okay.
we'll be good.
And then run back down.
Hi. And then I think it was that April when I was out at Umstead, and I was like, holy cow, you can stop and you can eat and you can take a nap and it's okay to be slow and you can walk and it doesn't matter. As long as you finish, you're just as good as the first person.
Let's go, Rachel! Come on!
The only really ill effects I have are when I run, when I push it harder than I need to.
You got it! Go!
And I think most people would just say, okay, throw their arms up and sit on the couch and really protect themselves and put themselves in a bubble, and it's pissed me off. I think after June, it was like, you know what, I needed something to push the envelope to say, it doesn't matter about Boston, but this is almost my redemption of I can do hard things. I always say my life was before, my life is after. So it's self-sabotaging.
It's muddier the path I went.
Oh, how was that one?
Muddy.
she's gonna make a lot of friends along the way. She might talk too much on the trail. Dancing Antelope. That could be your trail name. Dancing Antelope.
I sweat.
I'm just gonna go make friends with Killian, and
What does that mean? He's gonna run for you?
maybe I'll hold his hand while he's running for a little while.
You're gonna make friends with Killian. How does that help you?
I don't know.
Gonna put a little rope on the back of him?
You know, it'll be a good story. She died trying.